Good morning. My name is Allie Powell. I am a registered OTR and I am also an OTD. I had a video reposted with NBCOT yesterday and I was talking a little bit about my kind of journey on taking 3 attempts to pass the NBCOT, as well as like just kind of imposter syndrome I mentioned a little bit. And I got a few responses back with just questions about my experience, and I've been wanting to post OT content on here for a while and wasn't sure where to start, and I just figured it's better to start and just go for it, because otherwise I'm just letting that imposter syndrome get right in my head and say that I don't know what to talk about or don't know where to do, or maybe I don't have enough experience. So I just wanted to get on here, tell you a little bit about myself as an introduction video and what this platform is going to look like for OT. What you see is what you get. Most of the time my hair looks like this and I've got minimal makeup on because that's just how I roll. I try to keep things unedited and just me on here, and I promise to give you my honest opinion as well as my honest thoughts on the process, whether that's imperfect or perfect or not. That's what we're gonna roll with. So this first video, I was gonna tell you a little bit about myself, who I am, and my OT journey. I am Allie Powell. I just got married. My previous last name, maiden name, was Brown. My husband and I have been dating for 10 years in April, and we were married for a year in April. It will be a year. We had a COVID wedding. We got married in a parking lot, so that was really fun. And then we had our makeup, like, big ceremony at our venue and stuff in September. We've had just an up and down journey all around and grown so much since we were like 16, obviously. And so that's a whole nother story. But my more education side of my career, I went to the University of South Florida for college. I studied gerontology with a minor in psychology. And so I knew that I had a passion for aging, and I wasn't sure where I wanted to take that. So actually a friend of mine in the class was like, we had to do a project on what was our next step, and my friend said, you know, you'd be a good OT. And I said, oh, what? And she said, go look it up, it'll be fun. And so I looked it up for about 3 hours that night, and I ended up dropping a double major in public health to then pursue my credits for grad school. For grad school, I ended up at the University of St. Augustine in St. Augustine, Florida. It was one of the best experiences of my life. Hard, but best. St. Augustine is beautiful. If you need a place to travel, highly recommend. And I also recommend that if you ever need a really good friend, find an OT, because I made some really amazing friends in school who are now awesome clinicians all over the country. We learned so much together. They saw me at my best and my worst times of my life, and they still love me, so that's really good. And through OT school, I did pretty well. I graduated with honors. It was like 0.06 away from high honors, which kind of kicked me in the pants a little bit, but it was okay. Let's see. My first fieldwork, well, actually, let's start with in class. We had 4 terms of classwork, 2 terms of fieldwork, and then the doctorate portion was a little bit different. So I had 2 terms after that that were related to my capstone study, and we can talk about like OTD versus MOT on another video. I'd love to tell you about like why I chose OTD versus MOT and why I think both are great, but it's kind of your own preference. So anyway, the first 4 terms, I spent 3 of those terms, which was all we were allowed to do because you couldn't the first, in the Student Occupational Therapy Association. I did a PT liaison position, which was fun to kind of get that camaraderie with the PTs. And I did vice president, excuse me, as well as president for roles, which were also really fun. I feel like I had a really good team working with me when we did that, and so we were able to really add on a lot of things that I'm still seeing in the SOTA board posts and things that they do now, which is really fun, leaving that like legacy in some way. When we went to fieldwork, my first one was a skilled nursing facility in Jacksonville. My supervisor, Nicole, was amazing. We still are friends on Facebook and stuff, and I keep up with her from time to time. She's been a reference of mine, which is amazing. That's kind of how I got this job that I'm starting. My second fieldwork was an acute care setting in Tupelo, Mississippi. I was really shocked to be sent to Tupelo, and I ended up meeting some really amazing people there, as well as one of my other classmates was there at a same hospital, different setting. She was inpatient, I was acute. And so we lived together and we got to kind of hang out and just not be alone in the middle of the woods in Tupelo, which was awesome too. But I learned so much through my fieldworks, but I still knew that geriatrics was where I wanted to be. I am getting ready to start a PRN position at a skilled nursing facility, and I'm looking forward to taking you along for the ride. Some of the future episodes that I want to put on here are going to talk about people's questions that they've asked. I've kind of made a list right here. So people asked a lot about study tips and like recommendations for the NBCOT. People have mentioned stuff about imposter syndrome, which is a big one. I really want to talk about that. As well as my approach to exam retakes. People were asking kind of my thoughts on, well, what did you do, or how did you prepare a second time or a third time? And as much as I hate that people even have to ask me that, because that means they're in the same boat as me, I'm happy to share my experiences. So there's going to be another episode, if you want to call it that, about that. And also just tools, materials, and content that works best for you. I kind of wanted to address all the things on that. So I'm looking forward to getting to know you guys, and if there's anything specific you want to know about OT world, my life, I'm an open book. So drop a comment, send me a private message, I don't care. We will talk it out, and I'm excited to get to know you guys and share my OT thoughts with the world. So happy Thursday.